That scene of that guy being dragged through the airplane looks like something from Lockup over the weekend on this network. Anyway, welcome back to Hardball. The Trump resistance has talked the talk, but now it's time to walk the walk. Democrats are hoping to turn their grassroots opposition to Trump into wins at the ballot boxes in some special elections coming up in Georgia, Kansas, and Montana. In the race to replace Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price in Georgia's 6th district, 30-year-old Democrat Jon Ossoff leads a 17-person field in all recent polls. Ossoff needs to clear 50%, however, in the April 18th primary that's next week, in order to avoid a runoff. He raised look at this. He's raised $8.3 million so far. It's a huge amount of money for a House race, and it has Republicans going on and attacking him. Republicans are also sending in the cavalry to the Kansas 4th District to boost their chances in the vacant seat to replace CIA Director Mike Pompeo. The GOP fears low turnout and an unenthusiastic conservative base could hurt Ron Estes' chances against Democrat Jim Thompson. Ted Cruz, by the way, flew out to stomp for the Republican today, and Vice President Pence is recording robocalls. That'll excite people on Estes' behalf. And in the Montana at-large race to fill Secretary of Interior Ryan Zinke's seat, progressive groups and leaders alike, well, people like Bernie Sanders, are boosting the populist insurgent out there. A banjo-playing bluegrass singer, sounds like Billy Davis from the old days, Democrat Rob Quist. Well, Nathan Gonzalez is editor and publisher of Inside Elections, and Kevin Robillard is with me as a reporter for Politico. Thank you so much. Nathan, you first. What's your best bet for something exciting for the progressives to hear, the resistance to hear in the next 2 weeks?
Well, I think it's been good news so far. I mean, just the fact that we're talking about Georgia, I think it's a toss-up right now. We changed our rating on Friday. The fact that we're talking about Kansas, the 4th district, that Donald Trump won by 27 points in the November election, I think it's already been good news. I think victory in one or both would just be icing on the cake to Democrats and the liberals.
Dare I ask you again my first question? Best bet. What should we look for? Which story should we read the paper about the next week?
Well, I think tomorrow Kansas is going to be closer than what people expect, and I legitimately think that Jon Ossoff has a chance at reaching that 50% majority, and I think that's his best bet on the 18th next week, because if it extends to a June 20th runoff, that's going to be 2 more months that Republicans have to tear him down and attack yet, and I think he's doing the right thing and going for it in next week.
It's one of those Southern campaigns where they have the rule. It was the old purpose of the runoff was to keep the blacks from winning. I remember that old, because they made sure it was a final runoff. Therefore, the white, was the majority of voters, would be able to keep the white candidate in office. It was a terrible old system, but they still have it. Mm-hmm. And so this guy Ossoff has to get the quick knockout. He has to get 50% in the primary, so he doesn't have to face the runoff.
Yeah. So really, what Democrats are trying to do right now is boost up Democratic turnout, specifically African-American turnout. The DCCC today announced that they were airing Get Out the Vote ads on African-American radio stations in Atlanta. They're sending Get Out the Vote mail to every single Democrat, registered Democrat in the district. They really want to get turnout out, specifically African-American turnout. It's tended to average around 7% of the electorate in primary elections.
No.
They needed to get way higher than that if they really needed it.
Well, you know, let me get back to Nathan. You know, I know from our ratings and the audiences of all kinds of programs like ours and other ones, people are very excited at the base. And I wouldn't say just the left, I mean center left. I think a lot of people are really upset, obviously. It's not so obvious about Trump. And they know that votes matter because there was an upset last November. Trump won in the Electoral College. That wasn't supposed to happen. If more people had voted against Trump, he would have lost. If people hadn't thought, oh, Trump can't win, he's not going to win, I'll have some fun voting for him. Well, that attitude is gone, I think. There's no more joking about it. The guy won. So will that boost excitement on the left?
Right. I think the reality that Donald Trump is president of the United States is certainly affecting turnout. And what's key in what Kevin was talking about is that Democrats, it looks like they are changing the makeup of the electorate. If all things were equal, Republicans would hold Georgia's 6th district. But within those early vote numbers, Democrats are not only outpacing Republicans in early and absentee voting, but they're also turning out voters that didn't even vote in the 2016 elections, aren't normally primary voters. And so changing the makeup of the electorate is important, and it looks like Democrats are doing just that.
Isn't that what Trump did last November?
Yeah, I mean,
it's the flip side of that.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. That's how you win elections, is by shifting who actually comes out to vote for the most part. It's not by
will this Gorsuch thing help? Will Gorsuch help?
Gorsuch probably helps a little bit.
Because if Anthony Kennedy quits later this year, that's another Supreme Court justice. There's a lot of stakes here.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of these are Senate seats, so there's not a direct impact. But anything that gets a progressive angry is probably a good thing for the Democrats.
Well, it's interesting to see if people are voting the way they're watching television and listening to radio right now. Because if they are, there's going to be a big progressive surge the next couple weeks. Nathan Gonzalez, sir, it's great to have you on. You seem to know your stuff, and I love that in people, because I'm a nut like that, too. I know all this stuff. I used to, anyway. Kevin Robillard, thank you. Thank you. But up next, the Hardball Roundtable is coming here with a look at the one Trump administration player who's got a bit of star quality. I'm going to the star quiz. Was it the Starfish commercial, whatever it is? Anyway, you're watching Hardball. The action is Star Kid.